Hi there, we're the Casson family, and instead of peace and quiet, we chose to juggle kids and luggage around the world. This week we're checking out Bangkok's vibrant streets, from floating markets and night bazaars to absolutely massive malls and the stunning Erawan Museum. Stick around to see all the things we did with kids and the costs. We loved Bali, but we were thrilled for our next adventure. With bags packed, we headed to the airport, checked in and explored. Walking in with all our luggage, we felt like a travelling circus, to be honest, minus the elephants. The kids were fascinated by everything. We strolled through duty-free, resisting unnecessary buys, which basically meant me saying no to everybody. The kids, now seasoned flyers, got their iPads, colouring books and battery packs ready, and as we approached Bangkok, the city lights made everything feel magical. When we landed, the look of awe on the kids' faces was priceless. Everything was new and fascinating. We couldn't wait to see what adventures awaited us. So we arrived at our hotel in Bangkok. Let's just say it was affordable. It wasn't the swankiest place, but for a couple of nights it did the trick. Not once to sit around, we hopped in a tuk-tuk and zipped through the streets of Bangkok. We stumbled upon this beautifully decorated grid floor of the Chinatown night market. The kids were instantly drawn to a lady selling fruit on sticks covered in caramel. Fruit and sugar? Does that count as your $5 a day? The lights of Chinatown were absolutely mesmerising. We took in all the sights, the glowing signs, the sea of people, the chaos and the harmony of it all. Everywhere we looked there was food. The lady was frying up these spring rolls which smelled amazing. There were endless options, seafood, noodles, skewers, you name it, it was there. The variety was mind-blowing and suited everybody. Shelley's vegetarian, I like meat, and the kids are basically sausage connoisseurs. Only catch? No seating, so we embraced our inner street food aficionados and sat there right on the floor to eat. Who needs chairs anyway? Later we found a vendor selling the most delicious noodles, absolutely hit the spot. After our feast we decided to head back, it was getting late. We caught a tuk-tuk that might have actually been the fastest in the universe. No, seriously, I think we went back in time just a little bit. All in all, it was a great night, very successful, everyone was happy. Now we just got to plan what we're going to do next. Alright, family adventure time. Here we are at the Erawan Museum. And oh my god, I mean I knew it was big, but seeing it in person is just something else entirely. Seriously, this elephant's so big it can give Godzilla a run for its money. Looks like there was a camera conveniently placed here. To take it all in, we decided to explore the gardens first. They were absolutely stunning. It's like stepping into a fairy tale. We stumbled upon this beautiful bandstand with a golden statue. The details on the pillars are incredible. Whoever decorated this place definitely had a steady hand. The kids loved exploring, looking around, discovering little nooks and crannies. The gardens are so peaceful, you forgot there's an actual massive elephant looming over you. Before heading inside, we checked out the rules. No touching artifacts, keep voices down, and sadly, no attempting to ride the elephant. This is going to be interesting. So we spoke to the kids. Let's be on our best behaviour so we don't get kicked out before we see the cool stuff inside. Fingers crossed, here we go. The entrance alone looks like something out of a movie. As we walked in, we were greeted by the most amazing staircase. Marble, colours and details everywhere you look. The staircase had a dragon woven into it. The kids were equal parts excited and a little freaked out. I assured them that it wouldn't breathe fire, so everything was cool. Look up and you'll see the most breathtaking ceiling. It's like a kaleidoscope exploded in like the best way possible. I felt like a child. I couldn't resist spinning around to capture it all, though I nearly made myself dizzy in the process, and then I realised that my camera's got a spin function anyway. So we continued upstairs, heading into the head of the elephant itself. How often do you get to say you've been inside the head of an elephant? This is going to be interesting. Inside, the room glowed with deep blue hues. In the centre stood an impressive statue that left us in awe. It was beautiful and peaceful. Seeing others taking a moment of reflection just added to the peaceful vibe. Even the kids were quiet. Now that's a small miracle. After soaking it all in, we made our way down a spiral staircase. Going down was a lot easier. Stepping outside, we all agreed it was an unforgettable experience, and the elephant, truly a sight to behold. If you ever get the chance, you have to see it for yourself. Just remember, no climbing allowed. We're now in Bangkok. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're getting up really early to head to the floating markets, which are about an hour and a half away, and we're all really excited. Are you excited? Yeah. So we're going to go spend the day there and see what it's all about. There's definitely something exciting about waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Maybe it's a promise of adventure, or it could be the delirium from lack of sleep. Either way, we're up. As any seasoned traveller knows, the first rule of a road trip: snacks. So we're heading to the 7-Eleven to get some snacks for the 2-hour drive to the floating markets. All aboard? The driver doesn't know yet, but he's in for a right treat with this lot. Hopefully he doesn't understand, are we there yet? But we'll see. We leave the city behind and the streets are quiet. Well, as quiet as Bangkok can be. Coffee break. We've been up for, too long without caffeine. And we saw this amazing bus and couldn't help but think it was possibly some Asian celebrity that we don't know. But it was probably just a bus. Next up, the famous floating markets. But first, let's see who can stay up the longest. Ever had that sneaking suspicion you've just paid way too much for something? Well, welcome to our debut at the floating markets, where the first lesson is haggling isn't just recommended, it's practically an Olympic sport. We were so unfamiliar with the money, we didn't realise how much we'd just paid for this. Our captain, perhaps eager to show us a good time, or maybe he's a stunt double for a James Bond film, decided to unleash the boat's full horsepower. Suddenly we're blasting through the canals at warp speed, which was definitely a surprise. And here we are stopping for, let's see, this is probably the 5th time now. Our captain seemed determined to ensure we didn't miss a single souvenir shop on the canal. Talk about door-to-door service, except the doors, our boats, and we can't get off. It's like we'd been kidnapped. After the 15th offer for a special price just for you, well, we decided to take things into our own hands. I asked him to stopping at all the shops, and then all the vendors went mental when we just drove straight past them and were shouting at us.
Never go to a floating market again.
Leaving the commercial chaos behind, we drifted into a quieter part where there was quite a large empty bar. We began to see the true essence of canal life, which was interesting. These waterways have been the lifeblood of local communities for hundreds of years. Originally, bustling trade routes, but they've evolved over time. Today, they're a blend of cultural heritage and, tourist hotspots, one of which we enthusiastically contributed to. I find it fascinating that there are still large communities living here today, supported now by the tourist industry. Rather than having to abandon and move, they've adapted, which is the essence of human nature. As we ventured further, the smell of the street food filled the air. There were floating kitchens everywhere, and it got a lot busier with a lot more people around. We couldn't resist the mouth-watering smells coming from nearby boats. Had to stop for a quick bite to eat. Shelley got a coconut ice cream and I bought some chicken skewers from this lady selling them straight off a boat. There's something special about savouring street food that's being cooked right in front of you, especially when you're floating down a canal. It was a perfect snack to keep us going on our adventure. Next up, we stopped at this beautiful temple along the canal. It was so peaceful, a nice change of pace from the action earlier. We took part in a local tradition, sticking gold leaf onto some statues for luck. The kids loved it. Maybe it'll help us with our bargaining next time. With hearts full and new memories made, we wrapped up our floating market adventure from thrilling boat rides to delicious street food. It was definitely a day to remember. And I just hope the outrageous amount of money we paid helped keep the markets afloat. Literally. So next in our adventure, we decided to head to Lumpini Park, the big green heart right in the middle of Bangkok. We thought it'd be fun to take the BTS Sky Train, to get the full local experience. Sure, it was 150 baht, which is about 50 baht less than the taxi. But who needs personal space anyway? The train rolls in, as you can see here, and it's absolutely jam-packed. We took a deep breath, sucked in our stomachs, and squeezed in like sardines in a can. It was cosy, definitely an experience. After surviving the train ride, we walked through the streets of Bangkok. The city's size just blew us away. It's massive, absolutely stunning. We all love cities, but maybe just in small doses. Not sure we're cut out for permanent city life. Once we reached the park, the heat hit us like a wall, but the park was so beautiful it made up for it. We wandered around and ended up in the lake in the middle of the park. And guess what? It was full of monitor lizards. And these weren't your average backyard lizards, they were massive. We were absolutely fascinated watching them laze around like they own the place. And to be fair, they do. We took a moment just to sit there and soak in the view by the lake with the Bangkok skyline towering behind it. It was breathtaking and we were all in awe. And Shelley had the brilliant idea to try out the duck boats on the lake, so we hopped in and paddled around feeling like kids again. It was really fun, and the best part, it was completely free. Even the ducks didn't charge us. Everyone had a great time. And that wrapped up the park adventure. With smiles on our faces and maybe a little sunburn, we headed off to explore the malls. So we arrived at the Platinum Fashion Shopping Mall and we walked right into the middle of a party. People were dancing, singing, banging on drums. I think they were celebrating the launch of a new shop. Talk about a grand entrance. Once inside, we took a moment to appreciate just how massive this place is. From the top floor, the endless escalators looked like they'd never stop. 5-6 stories high, stretching out for what seems like miles. Here's a quick zoom through to give you an idea of how big it is, but it's just me walking around in circles, I think. Everyone was pumped. We were geared up for a full-on shopping spree. Shoes comfy, wallets ready. Let's do this. Our first stop, as usual, is the food stalls. Seriously, there are so many, the smells were irresistible, making it impossible to shop on an empty stomach. We couldn't resist checking out this guy who had bottles spinning in ice. We weren't sure what it was, but it turns out it's actually slushies that he was making. Really cool. Afterwards, we headed up to the 5th floor, which was the food court. This whole floor was dedicated to food. Everything was there, but there was lots of treats and tasty snacks. There was this lady making custard-filled donuts on a conveyor belt. The kids loved watching it. Next up were funky fries, because why not? And the dessert stalls were next level. The cakes and donuts looked almost too good to eat. Back to shopping. Each floor had its own department. Men's fashion, women's fashion, bags, accessories. It was like navigating a maze designed to empty our wallets, one category at a time. I found some perfect shorts, but guess what? No changing rooms. Instead, the shopkeeper handed me a sheet or a sarong of some kind. So that was interesting. Trying to change in the middle of the shop like some kind of shopping ninja wrapped in this sheet was definitely an experience. Now, I know everyone talks about the MBK Mall because of its large range of counterfeit goods, but honestly, it's not worth it. I'm not into fake brands, and the non-branded stuff was just the same as the branded stuff, but a hell of a lot cheaper. Next, we went to a watch shop for Cameron. It wasn't a brand at all, but it looked amazing. The guy even swapped out the strap to fit. Custom fit without the custom price tag? Yes, please. Next, we headed down the road because all the malls are located in one area in Bangkok. And I'd read about this technology mall, which specialised in gadgets and technology, which is right up my street. When we got there, it seemed it was old news and that had been repurposed into a food mall. So we headed on down to MBK to have a look at the range of technology they have on the 4th floor, I believe. It was definitely worth a visit to the MBK Mall on the 4th floor. It's just full of gadgets and technology, which was amazing to see. There were phones that didn't even exist, copy phones, fake phones, all kinds of stuff. Really interesting. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, we were off. Next stop, Chiang Mai.
Don't go shooting all the dogs, cause one of them got fleas. Don't just listen to these songs and think that you got grease. They just lyrics, I be venting to this mic, it's therapy.